Can someone give me an answer for this riddle?
Your word.
Respect.
It's trust. I'm Brandon Blair, and what I do is I help companies build trust. And I do it through the digital means of video. And I love this stuff. I'm passionate about it. I geek out about this stuff all the time. It's just studying about marketing, media, and the psychology behind all of it. And I love to just break things down to the core of it and then go from there. Because I think once you can get it down to the bare minimums, it's a good starting point. And so just I could spend all day with you guys just going over so much vast different things you could do and taking opportunities. But I don't have all day. So I had to kind of choose a topic, and I think trust is a good place to kind of start and build from. Warren Buffett said, "Trust is like the air we breathe. When it's present, nobody really notices. When it's absent, everybody notices." But what is trust? I want you guys to think about somebody that you trust. Picture them in your mind. Think about what makes them trustworthy for you. Is it the fact that they're predictable? I mean, right? Well, if there was a dog that came on your yard every day and pooed on it at 11 o'clock, it's predictable. Doesn't mean you trust it, right? So there's a little more to it than just predictability. Concern for others. If you know that they have your best interest, that helps as well, right? But there's also context. Your dentist might have your best interests, but you're not going to trust them to work on your car like you would your mechanic. And you wouldn't trust your mechanic to work on your teeth. So context actually has a big deal to do with it too. My point is that trust is really complex. There's a lot of things that go into it, and to break down a theory for it would be really hard. But I think if we were to look at how you build trust, we can find a good foundation. And you're probably wondering, I thought this was on social media, I thought this was on video, but we'll get to it. You'll see that this is the foundation of what it's all about. So in my research, I found that there's 3 rings of trust. The first outer ring is called credibility. And I'll go through each one of these in depth in a moment. The next ring is ethical, being ethical. And the core of trust is being worthy. So the first layer is credibility. Now, I don't want to sound superficial, but it's just a fact of life. We're human, and we do judge a book by its cover. Our first impressions of people have a huge impact. In fact, there was a study done where they showed students 2 seconds of a professor, just 2 seconds, and then they asked them to describe them. And what was amazing is they were able to do it. Just 2 seconds. They were able to gain an opinion about somebody. Now, what's even more amazing about the research is that they then compared it to students that were with those professors for a whole semester. And they compared them, and the descriptions are similar. So we gain first impressions fast, and they last. So it's just a fact that we have to be. That first layer of trust that we build with people is how they present themselves, and that credibility do they present. Here's an interesting statistic. This is coming out of Harvard. 60% of a person's mind is already made up before they even pick up the phone or step into a store what they're going to buy, based on information they found online. I've seen this research gone up to 86% of someone's mind made up before they even think about stepping into or contacting that professional, based on information they find online. So your credibility and that trust, are you present online? Are you missing out on that 60% of decision factors that people are making? So the next layer is ethics. Now obviously you need to go beyond the surface level. You need to learn about somebody. What are their standards? What are their values? Are they going to take every party into consideration? Are they going to do a house listing that's misrepresent a house? Your ethics is a huge part of why people trust you, and knowing those is a huge part of someone's next step in trusting you. If they know your ethics, they know your standards, your values, then they can better make a judgment and move on to the last ring of trust, which is trustworthy. And when you thought of that person, you probably thought about a lot of things about how you trust that person and how they're worthy of that trust, interactions you've had with them, actual experiences. And this is what the core of trustworthy is and building trust, is that final step is having those interactions. So what does trust have to do with social media? Well, it has everything to do with it. How you, like Warren Buffett said, it's like the air we breathe. In business, you can't get anywhere unless someone trusts you. And if somebody's going to make up 60% of their decision factor online, and if they can't build trust in that moment, then they're going to find somebody that they can trust and they can find the information that builds all three of these layers. I mean, here's some good statistics. 86% of people skip television ads today. I'm part of that 14%. I like to watch commercials. My wife probably would imagine this being 99%, and I'm that 1%.
Does that stat include people who have gotten good at television like you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure how the research, but yeah, there's people that you can watch it online and you can just not have ads at all. 91% of emails that were originally opted into were unsubscribed. So the people that asked for an email were opted out. They unsubscribed to them. So people are kind of making decisions and they're able to filter out stuff. And then 44% of direct mail is never opened. Basically, we're moving from what used to be the outbound marketing to an inbound marketing. So before you used to use like kind of a sledgehammer approach. You try to break into the lives of your customers, your potential customers, and you try to persuade them by interrupting their life, whether it's interrupting their program and all that stuff. But today we can unsubscribe, we can filter out things, and we can skip through stuff. So today the market's about bringing people to you, kind of like a magnet. You want to create content that brings people to you like a magnet. That's stuff people that enjoy. So building trust through video. I specialize in video, and I'm going to make a pretty hard case for video. Obviously, there's lots of different ways to use social media, but all statistics and all studies done on it always come out with the same two results. Videos get the #1 click, and images get #2. So images and video are huge on social media. People are very visual, and video has a great way of doing it. But most of all, video does the best of any other medium online of building trust. And we'll go through each ring, starting with the core, right? That trustworthy building. And now this probably sounds hard to do online. How do you have, this is based on your experience and your interaction with somebody. But if it's just information or just a web page, how is someone supposed to get that genuine, feel like they've had that interaction with you? It's pretty hard. This is where testimonials play a huge part. You can post online, you post videos of people actually talking about their interaction with you and why they feel you are trustworthy, and they can then borrow from that. So that's why testimonials are huge. And that's the first thing when I go and work with a client, they start to work on developing some type of testimonial video that they can show, because this is just, the truth is, and even in back in my college days, I did a research, and I found that people, based on information that people, either the company information, their peer reviews, or even a video, and they chose the peer reviews. So people want to hear about other people. They want to hear about people that have interacted with you. And what's great also about this is there's things that they can say about you that you necessarily can't say about yourself. For you to say that like, oh, I'm a really trustworthy person, or I'm really honest, or I'm really good, it just comes across sounding kind of awkward. But for somebody else to say like, he's really trustworthy, or he's really honest, it just sounds very natural, and it sounds a lot better than you just simply bragging about yourself. So testimonies are huge, and it's that core of what builds trust. So working outward, those ethics, this is an opportunity for you to speak. You need to have a presence there. Someone needs to see your face. They need to get to know you. So this is an opportunity for you to talk about your values, talk about your philosophies. There's nothing awkward about that, for you to talk about what's important to you, and be able for people to interact with you, see your face, hear your voice, and feel like they're getting to know you right on their screen of their computer or their device. Video can do that. Text can do it, but not as good as video can.
Okay, can we ask questions along the way?
Sure, we're going to have Q&A afterward, but was there a question directly relevant?
Well, only that, like with video, I know I'm a little nervous about it because I also don't know how I come across in a video. This all sounds great, but let's say that you aren't a good speaker, or you don't present, you don't know how well you present. Well, then that could be a negative, right? If you don't do a good video.
Well, exactly. And that's kind of like the last core. Your question was very relevant because you're talking about that credibility, right? That first impression, how awkward you are on camera and all this stuff. And that's why it's important to find somebody that's professional to help you out, that can give you coaching tips, to find a way maybe if there is something that you aren't comfortable with or that's kind of awkward on camera, you can work around it through editing. So I've worked with tons of different people that have different presences on camera. I've worked with huge CEOs that they get up on stage in front of hundreds of people and they're completely comfortable, and then I put a camera in front of them and they choke up. It's just really weird, the kind of psychology behind it. But yeah, so having somebody that can work with you, that can coach you through it, figure out how to kind of work with your style is really important. But that's the thing, yeah, credibility.
You should get George Clooney just to play you.
Actually, can I
Get
say
actors,
something?
don't
Sure.
I'll call him.
Nick, I actually have a colleague at RPM who, she's partially deaf, and so she can't enunciate all her words very well. She has, that common thing that deaf people, they kind of speak a certain way. And when she did her RPM video for her webpage, they actually carefully scripted what she would talk about to avoid some of the things that would trip her up more or make it harder for her to enunciate those words. So to Brandon's point, that's why you work with a professional, because they will see that and they will say, okay, let's change what's an easier word, or let's script this differently, and and it came out amazing. But people do have challenges sometimes like that. I mean, this is one of her challenges, is her speech.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I just want to give a real life example.
Yeah, I mean, and I also have a teleprompter, so be able to put a script in front of you and all that stuff. So there's lots of ways you can work with somebody to help them be credible, come across professional, present the best you, so that people can build that trust and it doesn't become a hang up on that first ring of trust. So other things that kind of, having good lighting, good sound. I mean, a lot of people will forgive a bad image, but no one will forgive bad sound. So, I mean, that's one of the big things, is like getting good sound on video.